Go Knights go! 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 Hello Knight fans, and welcome to another edition of Knights This Week. Here on Knights This Week, we are actually going to go back to the last week of the regular season and sum that up for you as the Knights finished the regular season with 3 games in 2.5 days. So we'll let you know how those games went. And we actually don't have much on Knights this week other than those games because already, if you caught my playoff primer, I already gave you the final standings and where teams ended up and how many points they had. So we're not going to go over that. But I will tell you that the London Knights finished the season with 2 wins in 3 games. So, we'll get to that. And I hope you like the catchy new introduction. I don't think I'm going to get in trouble for this. It's the old Hockey Night in Canada theme song. I grew up with that. It was a great theme, the Hockey Night in Canada theme song every Saturday night in our household. So, watched hockey every Saturday night growing up on Hockey Night in Canada. So this is Hockey Night in London. This is Knights This Week with your super fan and host Jason Banks coming at you. So let's get to it, shall we? First of all, I want to let you know that this is my shirt of the week for this week. So this is, again, I have so many of these shirts from the 2005 year because it was absolutely a fantastic year. No other season has been done in it in junior history like that one. And London Knights obviously haven't had a season like that ever again either. Because in 2005, as I alluded to in previous videos, they did win the OHL and the Memorial Cup that year. So they did very good that year. They won 59-7-2. They won 59 of 68 games that year in the regular season. Then they went on and lost only 2 out of 16 games in the playoffs. Went 4-0 in the Memorial Cup. Some kind of year. So that was the shirt that I bought after they won it all that year. It's a pretty common shirt. I think a lot of people bought this shirt. This is how they made it then. Now on the back of my shirt, I'm not going to show it to you, but on the back of the shirt it's special too because it will list all the records that that team broke that year. They broke all kinds of records that year en route to their steamroll of the OHL and the CHL. They actually got the most wins in the season, and that still is standing. They got the most points in the season, highest winning percentage, fewest road losses, most shutouts in the season, least goals scored against in the season, just almost every one of them. They actually set a record for setting the most records in the season. If you can believe that, that's a crazy record. But they set 50. That the record was setting most records in a season, which was 15. They set 15 new records that season. So they were tails and above, far and above everybody else, and that was a sweet year. They won at the Memorial Cup and OHL that year. So that is my shirt of the week this year. Now, I want to tell you, hopefully before this Knights This Week is done for this year, I want to share with you a couple of really sweet memories as well from the previous years of history. Things that were pretty darn awesome too. But I'll get to that in future Knights This Week. Now, just bear with me, folks. I have to just get something very quickly in the other room. I will be right back. Stay there, folks. I promise. Watch that Knights jersey. I will be right back in a second. I am back. See how quick I was? All right. All right, so let's get to Knights this week. And let's get to the last games of the weekend, shall we? So let's get to this. So last Friday night at Budweiser Gardens, they were playing their final regular season home game of the season. And they, as they always do in the last game of the season, they honored their overagers. So the players that will not be back for sure next year because they are too old to play next year. So, the Knights have 3 of them. Owen McDonald, who has done nothing but play with the London Knights since he came into the league. So this is his final year. He can play with the league. And Owen McDonald has played 5 years with all of the London Knights. And he's had great opportunities in those 5 years. Because he's been to the Memorial Cup in most of those years, so that's pretty good for a junior player. So Owen McDonald, and then new pickup Dante Salaturo that they got in a trade deadline. He's also an overager. And then J.J. Pickenage, your captain of your London Knights, got honored as well. He won't be back next year. He's an overager. So they honored those guys before the beginning of the game. And then they went on to the game, and they were playing the Flint Firebirds. The Flint Firebirds were 7th in the standings coming into the game. Last time they played Flint, Flint played them very tough in Flint. London had to come back and win that game in a shootout. So let's see what happens in this one. This is the beginning of a home and home with the Flint Firebirds. So we are going to get to it. And here we go. So let's go to the first period. In the first period, the London Knights get the first goal of the game. When very strong rookie. He's a very talented player, and he has been very good for the Knights this year. Alex Formitton got his 16th goal of the season from Adrian Carbonera and Victor Mete at 3:46 of the first to give the Knights the first goal of the game and the lead of the game. Then at 9:01 at the first, Flint Firebirds struck back when Fedor Gordiev got his 4th goal of the season from Everett Clark at 9:01 of the first, made it a 1-1 game. But before the end of the first, the Knights regained the lead when Max Jones, who was, well, he actually was back in the lineup against Erie, but his second game back from suspension, he got his 15th goal of the season from Cliff Pooh and Mitchell Stevens at 16:02 to put the Knights back ahead 2-1. It was the first goal of the night for Max Jones, and he has a beauty night on this night. Just trust me on that one. He has a great game in this one. So it's 2-1 after 1 period of play for your London Knights. Shots on goal read 14-13 in favor of Flint in the first. So Flint did have 14 shots on net, but they only got 1 goal. And it was 2-1 after 1 for your hometown Green Boys, the London Knights. Let's go to second now. And here in the second period, the very early on, Flint strikes back again. So Flint would tie it at 2. And Everett Clark would get his 16th goal of the season from Fedor Gordiev, the guy who got the first goal, and Cole Sherwood, ex-London Knight, chipping in on that goal at 1:03 of the second to tie the game at 2. But then at 7:32, Knights go back ahead when Jani Kaukonen got his 26th goal of the season at 7:32 of the second. It was unassisted, so he did it all by himself. Jani Kaukonen, 26th goal of the season, made it 3-2 London Knights. And then at 9:41, so about 2 minutes later, Liam Foudy, the strong rookie who's playing his first year in the OHL, and you got to believe that this guy's going to have a higher role next year. He is going to be a much more stronger contributor next year. He got his 9th goal of the season from Evan Bouchard and Adrian Carbonera at 9:41 to put the Knights ahead 4-2. And they weren't done yet. before this period was over. Before this period was over, they would get another one when Adrian Carbonera, who I think actually has been more of an impressive pickup than guys like Dante Salaturo and Mitchell Vandosalpo. I think this guy has been a very pleasant surprise to the lineup. He's scoring goals, and he adds that toughness and grindness, too. 12th goal of the season from Carbonera from Liam Foudy at 13:53 of the second made it 5-2 for the London Knights. So it was 5-2 Knights at the end of 2 periods of play in this one. So a very good home game, last home game for the London Knights. Shots on goal in the second were 14-10 in favor of the London Knights. So they had a pretty good second period, very good second period. They definitely played very well in the second to get the 5-2 lead. Now, let's go to the third period, and the Knights just keep on steamrolling. And this was an absolutely mind-blowing goal. Max Jones, who I alluded to earlier, this is what you need from Max Jones. You need him to play on the edge, but just under that line, and you need him to chip in with the important goals, and he does that. He gets a head-shaking goal at 3:12 of the third because he literally just dangles it. He takes the stick and dangles it between his legs, goes right between his legs with the puck in the net. Just a highlight reel goal. Max Jones, 16th goal of the season from Mitchell Stevens and Cliff Pooh at 3:12 of the third, made it 6-2 for the London Knights. And then they would add another one yet. At 9:31, Dante Salaturo got his 11th goal of the season from J.J. Pickenage and Cliff Pooh. So Cliff Pooh having a very good night for the London Knights. He's in on a lot of goals here. He has 3 assists on the night. It was on the power play at the time. 9:31 of the third made it 7-2 for your London Knights. So they had this game well in hand, but Flint would get a goal before the end of the third to make it a little bit more respectable. Alex Peters got his 10th goal of the season from Cole Sherwood and Everett Clark at 11:33 of the third. Made it 7-3 at that time. And that was all that the Flint Firebirds would be able to be getting this game. They made it 7-3. 7-3 was the final for your London Knights in this final home game of the regular season. 16-13 the shots in the third for Flint. So a little concerning the fact that Flint gets 40 shots on net. London did too. London got 42, but they gave up 40. So this is, I think, about the third or fourth game in a row giving up 40 shots on net for the London Knights. Your defensive zone coverage will have to improve. It's going to have to be better in the playoffs because, it doesn't matter if you have Tyler Parsons back there in net. You cannot be giving up over 40 shots in net every game and expect to win. It's just not how you go about winning a hockey game. So, but the Knights did get away with winning this one. A good last home game for the London Knights. The 3 stars of this game were all London Knights. Jani Kaukonen got the 3rd star from the London Knights. Jani Kaukonen got a goal. So he got the 3rd star. 2nd star, Liam Foudy, he got a goal and an assist. So he's the 2nd star. Max Jones had a very good night. He had 2 goals, including that highlight reel goal to be the 1st star of this game. Now, I don't know why you don't put Cliff Pooh in there. Cliff Pooh got 3 assists. I think he's a star at this game too, but he didn't factor in the 3 stars. Let's make him an honorary 3 star as well. Cliff Pooh had a great night, 3 assists. So, the London Knights win 7-3 in the first game at the home-and-home against the Flint Firebirds. Now, for the time being, it puts the Knights back to within a point of the Owen Sound Attack. Keep in mind that the Owen Sound Attack had the 3rd spot in the playoffs still. So, they kept their hopes for 3rd alive with this win. Now, let's go to the rematch in Flint, Michigan. Saturday night, they go down to play the Flint Firebirds at the Dordt Federer Event Center in Flint. It was the last. It was going to be the last game of the year against the Flint Firebirds for the London Knights. And this one was much closer than the game at London. And the London Knights actually almost blow this game. Almost, but not quite. The Knights get 2 goals late in the first period in this one when the captain J.J. Pickenidge gets his 25th goal of the season from Sam Miletich and Robert Thomas at 16 minutes even of the first. 1-0 for your Knights. Tyler Parsons getting the call again in this game for the Knights. Not a surprise. But at 16 minutes even, Knights get the first goal. Then at 18:01 at the first, a very seldom goal scorer gets a goal. And that's the blue liner, Nicholas Mattinen. He got his second goal of the season. Only his second. J.J. Pickenidge, the captain, is getting an assist on the goal. 18:01, the time of the goal in the first, made it 2-0 Knights. So 2-0 was your score after one period of play for the Knights in Flint. Shots on goal in this game after one period of play were 16-15 in favor of the London Knights. So we go to the second now. And the second period, the Knights would get another goal to build on their lead when the comeback player of the year for the London Knights, Sam Miletich, got his 37th goal of the season from Robert Thomas at 1:47 of the second. Made it 3-0 Knights at that point. Now, 2 more goals came in the second, folks, and they weren't from the Knights. They were from the Flint Firebirds. The first goal came at the 4:11 mark at the second when Jelen Smurik got his 9th goal of the season from Ryan Moore and Ty Delarandra on the power play. It's a power play goal. Got the Flint Firebirds into the game at that point. 3-1 Knights. And then at 11:06 at the second, Flint gets another one when Mauricio Kalala got his 18th goal of the season from Cole Sherwood and Hakan Nilsson at 11:06. 3-2 is your score now. So Knights get out to a 3-0 lead in this game, and now it's 3-2. And Knights badly outplayed in that second period. 18-8 were the shots on net in that second period. So, very poor period for the London Knights in that one. We go to the third, where the shots are more even. 11-9 in favor of the Flint Firebirds, but no scoring happens in the third. So, the London Knights are able to hang on, much like they did in the game in Erie after they went ahead 3-2. And the Knights hang on to that 3-2 lead to win the game 3-2. So, the London Knights win 3-2 to sweep the home and home against the Flint Firebirds. And most importantly, they went 4-0 against Flint this season. So 4-0 against Flint, 6-0 against Kitchener, 6-0 against Guelph. Pretty good records against those teams. But most importantly, keep their slim hopes for third alive with the win. Owen Sound would win their game that night too, so stay a point ahead of the Knights. But the shots on net, a little bit concerning again, because Flint gets 44 shots on net, opposed to the Knights 33. So again, the Knights giving up a lot of shots, a lot of chances, and it's you need to buckle down a little bit more defensively. 3 stars of this game. Flint Firebirds got the 3rd star. Mauricio Kalala got the 3rd star. He was the 3rd star of the game from Flint. And then J.J. Pickenidge was the 2nd star. He had a great game. I think he had 2 points in this one. Let me see. J.J. Pickenidge had a goal and an assist. Yes, he had the 2 points. And then Sam Miletich got the 1st star of the game with 2 goals in this game. And the London Knights would go on to a 3-2 victory in Flint for their second last game of the season. And then they would stay in Flint overnight and head on up to Sault Ste. Marie, a 4-hour drive from Flint, to take on the Soo Greyhounds in the last game of the season. An interesting matchup here because the Knights have not beaten the Soo Greyhounds all year long, and the Soo Greyhounds really had nothing to play for. The Soo Greyhounds already in the second spot in the Western Conference, could not move any higher. So second was where they would finish. But obviously, Soo playing for a lot of pride, and anytime London's in town, you get up for that game, I would suppose. So, they go in to play the Soo Greyhounds on a Sunday afternoon for the last regular season game of the year. And you know what? This is very cute. I want you to hear some Greyhounds here. So the Greyhounds, are they ready for the Knights? All right. So yeah, the Greyhounds are wooing. They appear like they're saying, you know what, Knights, we're ready to take you on. We want a game with you guys today. Doesn't matter if we can't go any higher in the standings. We are proud of our team this season. We want to finish with a win on home ice. So let's go to this game, shall we? And a little bit of a surprise in this game in some sense, because the Knights decide to go with Tyler Johnson in net in this game because they want to get Parsons a night off. Understandably so. Parsons faced a lot of rubber in the last 4 or 5 games with all those shots on net I talked to you about. But a final game for the London Knights, really. A game that means a lot to the London Knights, and they put in Tyler Johnson. But I'm not the coach. I'm not the manager at the team. So, they know what they're doing, you would think. So Tyler Johnson in net. And on the flip side, Joseph Raymakers in net for the Soo Greyhounds, who actually has been taken over by the backup goalie recently because he's been playing better. So Raymakers kind of goes in, and Johnson goes in as well in this game. Let's see what happens in this one. And the Knights strike first early. So a good start for the London Knights and an important road game for them. Ole Juolevi got his 10th goal of the season at 3:59. It was a power play goal. Came at 3:59 of the first. Evan Bouchard and Sam Miletich assisted on the goal at 3:59. The London Knights would get the 1-0 lead in this game. So a good start indeed for the London Knights. But the Soo Greyhounds were wooing. The Soo Greyhounds were barking as we just listened to, and they were ready, and they responded. After that goal at 7:29, they would tie it when Boris Katchouk got his 34th goal of the season from Zachary Seneshin and Connor Timmins at 7:29, ties it up at 1. And then, at 15:57 at the first, the Soo Greyhounds would go ahead. David Miller got his 22nd goal of the season from Noah Carroll and Bobby McIntyre at 15:57. Then they would be ahead at that point 2-1. Now, the London Knights would then get a 2-man power play advantage. And with the first penalty almost expiring, the Knights would get a power play goal. And York captain J.J. Pickenage got the goal, his 26th goal of the season, from Max Jones and Mitchell Van der Soppel on the power play at 18:41 to tie the game up at that point at 2. So the London Knights would get an important late goal to tie the game at 2 going into the first intermission. The shots on net in the first period, very good first period for the Knights, actually. They they got 14 shots on net in the first, as opposed to 9 for the Sioux Greyhounds. So London Knights definitely played a good first period, and they come out of it tied at 2. And then before, if you were late getting back to your seat in this one, if you were at the game, or like me, I was out in the kitchen making some food, you came back and it was like, holy cow, what did I miss? Because in the second period, very early on, we see 2 very quick goals, both from your London Knights. Evan Bouchard at 19 seconds of the second got his 11th goal of the season from Yanni Kaukonen, and Cliff Poo made it 3-2 Knights. So the Knights back ahead again by a goal. And then at 48 seconds, so 19 seconds and then 48, Max Jones gets another big goal. He got 2 on Friday, and he gets another one here, his 17th of the season, from Owen McDonald at 48 seconds precisely. And all of a sudden, it's 4-2 for the London Knights. And I know I'm sitting back going like, wow, this is pretty good, you know. We seem like we're in a pretty good spot. I think we got a really good shot at winning this game. All right. And then after that, you could say the wheels fell off for this team. And we've seen that happen so often this year. The Knights get a lead, or the Knights look like they're in control, and then all of a sudden, the wheels fall off. So, at 4:21 at the second, the London Knights would give up a goal. So, Sioux Greyhounds would make it a 1-goal game again when Zachary Senyshyn got his 42nd goal of the season from Morgan Frost and Tim Gettinger at 4:21, made it 4-3. And then the Knights would get called for a 5-minute major penalty. And it was called on Sam Miletich. It was slew footing. Sam Miletich went past the Knights goaltender. Very innocent play. Very, very innocent, because all he was doing was going for the puck and playing. And he just went by and nicked the goaltender, and he fell. And he got called for a slew foot. A little extreme, I think, but that's the way the refs called it. And it's an automatic suspension. Automatic game misconduct. And it turns out a 2-game suspension, too. So, tough break for the London Knights. And on that 5-minute power play, they would tie it, the Sioux Greyhounds. Mind you, they only get the 1 goal on that 5-minute power play. But I guess it was a game changer because, you tied the game up and you're feeling good. You got the confidence back. You're starting to roll again. So, even though they only gave up that 1 goal on the power play, kind of, I think, a turning point. Boris Katchouk again got his 35th goal of the season from Blake Spears and Gustav Bierman at 9:32. Ties it up at 4. And 4-4 was what we were at going into the third period. Shots on net in the second were 19-8 Sioux Greyhounds, so a big advantage on that front. Keep in mind, though, they did have a 5-minute power play in that second. Let's go to the third. 4-4 game. Knights are still in a good spot. Knights could still win this game. Play a good third, right? Right? Okay, let's go to the third period. And let's see what happens in the third period. First goal of the third comes at 4:09, and it goes to the Sioux Greyhounds. So the Sioux Greyhounds got back the lead at 4:09 of the third. Blake Spears, his 15th goal of the season from Jack Kopeka and Boris Katchouk. So Boris Katchouk is all over the place in this game. 4:09 of the third, 5-4 Sioux. And then late in the third, London Knights, still had a chance, but late in the third at 17:08, Morgan Frost. Is he any relation to Andy Frost of the longtime Leaf PA announcer? Toronto goes, scored by. I'm just wondering, maybe Morgan Frost is a kid or something. Morgan Frost gets his 20th goal of the season from Zachary Senyshyn and Colton White at 17:08 of the third. 6-4 at that point. And 6-4 was the final in this game for the Sioux Greyhounds, as the Sioux Greyhounds would end up getting 100 points on the season with this win. Left the Knights looking on the outside for 100 points, 99 points for the defending Memorial Cup champions. Now let's go to the third. Okay? Anytime you see this is not good. And the shots on net in the third period in this one, red. 15 shots on net for Sioux. Nothing for London. London did not register a single shot on net in the third period. Not one. And I'm not trying to be negative, folks, but I'm just saying, how do you not get a shot on net? Really? So the shots on net total in this game were 43-22 in favor of the Sioux Greyhounds. So London very much dominated on the shot period after that first period. Dominated on the shot clock. And again, there's that familiar giving up over 40 shots a game. So, not a good way to end the season. It didn't matter what Owen Sound did later that day. Guarantees the Knights fourth. And that's where the cookies crumbled. So let's go to the 3 stars of this game. 3 stars brought to you by AT&T. I don't know who brought you the 3 stars in this game, but Evan Bouchard was the 3rd star from the London Knights, so he had a goal and an assist. Good game for the Blue Liner. Blake Spears, the 2nd star of the game from the Sioux Greyhounds. He had a pretty good game too. I know he was in on some plays. Let's see, what did Blake Spears end up doing? He got a goal and an assist, so yeah, a good game for Blake Spears. Now, the 1st star from the Sioux Greyhounds, Boris Tkachuk. Yes, Boris Tkachuk, as I mentioned, was in all over the place. How many points did he end up with? 2 goals and an assist, so 3 points for Boris Tkachuk. And the London Knights would drop their final regular season game of the year to the Sioux Greyhounds, 6-4. So, Sioux Greyhounds get 100 points, finish second, and the London Knights end up with 99 points. Yes, the Sioux Greyhounds definitely made their point in this game, and they shut down the London Knights. And they're howling in Sault Ste. Marie because they had a pretty good season. So the London Knights, as I said, in the last game of the last weekend of the regular season, got 2 wins and a loss. But that loss in Sault Ste. Marie was kind of, old patterns showing themselves once again. The London Knights cannot hold on to a lead. They cannot play a full 60 minutes. Did not get a shot on net in the third period. These are all, bad habits, and habits that are hard to break after you keep repeating them. And doesn't set themselves up for an easy road in the playoffs, that's for sure. But nevertheless, that is how the Knights season ended. Now, what I want to do here is bring this up again. Yes. So this is now what we were due for the playoffs. So I'm going to bring you the first playoffs Knights this week. Next week, give you an update on where the Knights are in the series with Windsor. But go Knights, go! Defend the throne. And, yes, that's what you hear at the game, and if everybody has them, it's pretty noisy. So the Knights will start the playoffs against the Windsor Spitfires. First 2 games are at Budweiser Gardens, then they shift to Windsor for 2, and then back here for Game 5 if it's necessary. Then, of course, Game 6 in Windsor, Game 7 in London if necessary. So, gonna be an interesting series. The first time ever that the Memorial Cup champions have met the current year's Memorial Cup hosts in the first round. And I want to beat Windsor so bad. I want to just knock them out of the playoffs, despite the fact they're going to be in the Memorial Cup automatically. Knock them out and make them sit around for a while before that thing starts. But we'll see what happens. So like I do at the end of every show, I like to do the Knights dance. So I'm going to do that for you right now. So let me just bring up my Knights dance for you. Just give me a second. And it's going to be here in a brief second, folks. All right. Okay, so like I do at the end of every show, I'm going to do the Knights dance. So here we go, folks. So go Knights, go. The playoffs start. This is the real season now, folks. So go Knights, go. And we'll see you next week on Knights This Week, when we're going to get you caught up to speed with the London Windsor first round series. So until next week, take care. This is your host, Jason Banks, signing off.